Today's Wednesday, October 8th, 2014, and you're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today at www.eesf.org.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yep. Yeah. Yeehaw. Yeah, it is good to be here this Wednesday morning, where last week we struggled a bit with having some Comcast internet blues, unfortunately. It was one of those deals where just it felt like I was on dial-up and was able to pull stories off the good old interweb, but that was about it, unfortunately. So, so I was able to get some of those show notes out so nobody was left hanging. But at the very least, the internet is back and working this morning. But had I known that, I probably just would have slept in, which didn't happen. Anyway, so we got a good show today for you, and so we'll get into that in a little bit. It was great to see everybody at the Chicago Elevator Association meeting last Thursday night, and especially Jim and Colleen Harity, as well as John Rarick, who were in attendance because they were here pretty much all week for the ASME code meeting, which I thought was pretty darn cool. So it's great to have dinner with those guys, and as always, good to see everybody from the Chicagoland area. I know it's been tough to get to the meetings as of late, mainly because of family commitments with volleyball, football, all that good stuff. But it felt good. It felt good to be there, and once you get there, it feels good. So encourage you to support your local elevator association or whomever is in your area, and just know it's we're family to some extent. So Jim was nice enough to basically give me a note in terms of what they accomplished or some of the stuff that did occur. Also John as well. Last week at the ASME Code Committee meeting, it was very productive, and which is awesome. So in terms of a QI, it's in progress, or will be some updates in the next edition. A17.2, which is the inspection version of the code, should be published in the next edition, 2014 or 2015. The committee also worked on overseeing public review comments, which, if you can imagine, can take some time. When you're dealing with public review questions and comments. And if you ever have a question or need clarification from regarding the elevator code, I encourage you to write in for a review or a technical, I don't know if it's a TR, I forgot what they're called. I know it's not a TA, but anyway, I encourage you to do that. It might take a little bit of time to get back, but at least you'll have it in writing. They'll include it in the codes in the next version so that everybody can read it in terms of interpretations. A17.1 main committee approved several items, and also 1 over 15 interpretation, which again is pretty significant. A17.7 with New Jack is progressing on requirements for escalators, and then A18.1 2014 was published as of September 12, 2014, and the next meeting is going to be held in Clearwater, Florida. So for more information, go to asme.com, or org, I should say, and click on the links to when the next meetings are going to be held. Encourage everybody to, do their part in making sure, basically, the code is not, it's kept basically even keel. And thanks to those of you out there, I mean, there's so many out there that do help and assist with directing the code. That and it mainly comes out of many of your pockets. So I have great admiration for all of you who sit on the code committee meetings, committees I should say, and help ensure that it's it's going in the right direction. Greatly appreciate that. In terms of A17.3, John was nice enough to share that some important changes are definitely coming in terms of the next edition. One of which is door lock monitoring. And that would be for existing elevators, although not every jurisdiction has adopted the latest A17.3 code or A17.3 at all. So just keep that in mind as moving forward in your neck of the woods. What is kind of on the horizon? So might be some modernization work coming your way. So just keep an eye out for that, and we'll definitely share more information with you as we learn more. In terms of emails, I've been bad at the emails. Do apologize. I've got a ton of emails here, a stack, most of which is spam. A couple of press releases, which I do have, some of which I do have linked up in the show notes. I'll have some of them linked up in next week's program, but I'll do my best to try to go through this entire mess of what I call my email inbox. And I think what makes it worse is that I use Gmail through their web server, their web-based application. It's not easy, and it's cumbersome. They've not made it easy. And I dread going into it because I'm like, oh, isn't there just an easy way to highlight everything, just delete it all? But it's not that easy. So hence the need for me to do some maintenance on it. So anyway, up next we'll get into the show notes. But as always, send your email comments to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. And we'll get right into the show notes next.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, this first news article drives me crazy, I swear. If you could write an article any worse than this, I guess I should say, I would like to just, comments are good. I didn't read through all the comments, but HLN has a article here talking about the lawsuit that gained some traction through the news media world regarding the little girl who had her foot caught in a Macy's escalator. The title of this article is just through the roof, okay? So it basically states girl's foot torn apart by Macy's escalator. And I don't know if you could make it any more sensationalized than this. And I have to tell you, it's a serious accident that occurred. But at the same time, the way that this, is cited, it's a little concerning in terms of the public eye, because the victim, who then was 10, was riding the escalator to an upper floor on a preschool shopping trip when her right foot became trapped in one of the store's escalators as her mother and little brother looked on in helpless horror. And that's according to the lawsuit filed by the victim's family. But as you read further down, and it's a serious accident, obviously. But the good news is the male that passed by was able to stop the escalator using the emergency stop switch, and then they began to remove metal plates from escalator with the help of another passerby. I don't know what plates they're talking about. I don't know if that's the side. Doctors were unable to save the girl's badly mutilated pinky and second toe. And as of last October, the victim had undergone a series of 13 surgeries in an effort to save her foot and leg. Man. They do state what the girl was wearing, and that they were laced and tied at the time of the incident, the suit states. And also that, let's see here. I just want to read down to the article here. This is what's concerning to me, okay? I just was, I was like, man. Anyway, Macy's operated one of the oldest escalators in the country at its Garden State Plaza location. It was a potential hazard to anyone who rode it. It is shameful that it took a horrific injury that nearly tore off the little girl's foot to get Macy's to fix it. Again, this is all speculation. I don't know, whether or not an older escalator deems it as a dangerous escalator. That's one of my concerns. And in the statement, they place their customers' life and limbs at risk to save the expense of proper maintenance. Again, is somewhat of a general statement that I like to hear, see the proof behind that would indicate the escalator wasn't maintained. The reality is that obviously if you don't have your feet dragging along the side step or side of an escalator, there's less likely of a chance of your foot getting pulled into it, or I would assume. But again, I don't have all the details. But it, obviously we want to make sure that accidents like this don't happen in the future. And but I don't think this article truly did any justice to furthering the important information on how to ride elevators and escalators safely, and that's really what is the most concerning to me. The next article is a little bit more. I did log into to get this. I forgot what my password was, and I thought it would just pop up, but I'm in incognito mode. And basically, this next article from NJLawJournal.com talks about judge dismissing child's parents. They had part in their lawsuit. They were looking for some kind of damages pertaining to what the child lost, and I believe companionship, not that kind of companionship, but in terms of something. So again, obviously, let's learn from the accident. Let's promote safety, and instead of it becoming some campaign to bash Macy's and the contractor, let's figure out how to make these kind of incidents not happen in the future. Okay, that's the bottom line. Perhaps more information will be shared further on down the road, but I don't really know. Okay, next article here, if I can turn the volume down, there we go, is from ABC News. It's talking about the unexpected risks of escalators. This is published, when was this published? I'm not really sure, but let's see if we can get through the commercial and actually listen to what it says, because I did not watch it yet. It's not letting me unmute. Hold on a second here. What's really concerning here? Okay, there we go. Let me go back real quick. Buffering.
Of escalators. It turns out.
Let me go all the way back here. Okay, ABC.
On the lookout this morning, the unexpected risks of escalators. It turns out that thousands of people are hurt on them every year. And ABC's Mara Schiavocampo is here with the story. Good morning, Mara.
George, good morning. Escalator accidents are common, and they can cause serious injuries or worse. Experts say there are some common sense ways to protect yourself, including the one tip that everyone should know. Escalators. Stepping on could bring you a step closer to an accident. Watch as this surveillance video shows air travelers at Palm Beach International Airport facing a different kind of turbulence. Tumbling down the escalator. GMA on the lookout, learning escalator.
Okay, everybody with a suitcase. All the videos, if you're listening to the podcast, all the videos are of people, looks like older people, on an escalator with baggage. Okay, you want to stop accidents, potential accidents from occurring on an escalator at an airport. Tell them they can't take their luggage on it, and you're set. You've just mitigated your entire liability right there and then.
Incidents led to more than an estimated 12,000 ER visits last year and can even be fatal. So we're talking about the potential for very serious injuries.
Very serious. Devastating.
Chloe Johnson says she was injured when her foot got caught between the stair and side wall of an escalator.
Okay, if you're listening again, they show an animated video of a woman's foot in Crocs. Okay? I just...
At just 8 years old.
Chloe said, "Oh, my toe, my toe." It was frightening.
Experts say some common ways to get hurt: a nasty spill, getting something caught in the machinery like shoelaces or a scarf, and some injuries occur when escalators malfunction. In 2010, an escalator at a DC metro station started speeding out of control, sending dozens tumbling to the ground. While there are local rules and voluntary safety codes for escalators.
Voluntary safety codes for escalators? How wrong could you be on that? What? Voluntary. Yeah, you make it sound like it's your car and it's up to you to, maintain it and get oil changes for it. Hello? Good morning, America.
There are no nationally enforced standards or inspections.
What? What? Am I wrong? Somebody correct me on this. There's no national standards on inspections for escalators? What the hell is she talking about?
The Escalator Industries Trade Association tells ABC News all jurisdictions should adopt the latest edition of the code without modification to assure the greatest level of safety for the riding public.
Way to go,
so
NEI.
What should you do to stay safe on these stairs? Experts say make sure shoelaces are tied. Don't take strollers or luggage on an escalator, and look at where you're stepping, not down at a cell phone.
Yeah.
Every escalator also has an important safety feature, an emergency stop button at the top and bottom.
The public, they can really do some good by knowing that these are here.
Putting a stop to a potentially dangerous ride.
Now, experts say if you do have luggage or a stroller, or if you're on crutches, there will almost always be an elevator that you can use instead of the escalator. It might take you a little more time, but they say it's just not worth the risk. You know, these sound like awfully common sense tips, but people do all of these things, looking at their phone, taking luggage on the escalator, and it can lead to injury.
Got to be careful. Mara, thanks very much.
Not bad. Okay, so that ended not so bad in terms of the messages. But you know what? As they generalized, this is what also kills me. You know, they compared escalators going out of control and people getting caught on, injured on escalators. The two are so different. And honestly, not to say there may not be an issue with an escalator that somebody's involved with in terms of an accident, but the majority, I have to believe in my heart, and if someone wants to call me out on this, the majority of accidents that occur on an escalator are caused by rider behavior. Some of which are the most serious, and all I can say is some of are the most serious, incidents that occur. So good job, NEI, for getting involved in that, and that's good advice, man. I'm telling you though, we are moving further and further into a time when there are many more distractions than we are used to. Obviously, phones and whatnot. And it's about time I don't know how else you can do it. You got to give everybody a test and a card and say, hey, now that you know the safety rules, you can ride on an escalator and an elevator. I mean, is that what it's going to come to? Like a license for a car? I don't know. Just kind of crazy. So anyway, but it again would have been nice if the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation was cited in that. But I'm not quite sure how we can make that happen. So. Okay, as long as we're on the topic of escalators, Elevator World Unplugged has a nice feature regarding 10 unique escalators, which is kind of cool. There's a full article inside this post by them, and so I encourage you to check it out. Kind of cool, and didn't not like escalators. Always like escalators, but again, at an early age, my mom and dad were very adamant at telling me to be very careful on it, to the point where it scared the crap out of me. So thank you, Mom and Dad. And because my grandfather worked around them, and he instilled that in my mom, and from that point on, that was enough. I was terrified of them. Not that you should be, but just stating, when written correctly, Anyway, we won't get into that anymore. So anyway, okay, the Elevator Riders Riding Club has a press release talking about their very successful poker run, 50-50 poker run charity event at the San Antonio NAC convention, which is pretty cool. They ended up raising a total of 40 hands were played. Patrick Bothell was the winner, which congratulations to him. Appreciate everybody participating in that. And we ended up raising $615 for the foundation. And that'll help educate 2,200 children on the way to ride safely on elevators and escalators. So pretty cool. Next news article. Let's see here. It's pretty cool. You don't read about this every day. Apparently, Time.com has a article talking about raising new questions for the Secret Service and how an armed contractor got within arm lengths of Obama. This kind of relates to the contractor the guy who jumped over the fence and went running. But apparently, as they should, Secret Service has elevator manifests for every presidential trip. I bet they have a manifest for everything he does. You know what I mean? One of those deals. So. Can't even imagine what they go through to make sure he's safe during his travels. So it's pretty cool. Read about that. Link is in the show notes. Next news article: lawsuit filed in death of Tampa airport elevator shaft incident. We did report on this, the original accident when it occurred, and again, the wonderful world we live in has become one of litigation, making the attorneys in the world, richer, unfortunately. So anyway, apparently the parents of a man who was found dead last year in an elevator shaft at Tampa International Airport have filed a lawsuit alleging that a malfunctioning elevator resulted in their son's death. Be interesting to see exactly what happened there. And I'm sure they've got a camera, so it'll truly be interesting to see what happened. I don't think we'll learn anything about it because I am pretty certain it's going to settle out of court. So, but in terms of, the majors or the contractor that was, named in the suit, I hope they fight it. Honestly, I'm one of those guys that on principle alone, I believe that, cases that don't warrant to be there should be fought. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, the attorneys make all the money, on any kind of case or litigation. So they could care less. And when it comes to insurance companies, they too just want it to go away, rather than perhaps pay an attorney more than they need to. Anyway, okay, this is pretty cool. Chicago Elevator Association has a cool announcement. Not announcement really, but apparently Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel has proclaimed, proclaimed that November 9th to the 15th, 2014, 20th Annual Escalator Safety Awareness Week in Chicago. So that's pretty cool. You can look at his photo and also the thing. There's some important safety messages there in terms of, elevator and escalator safety. So check those out. Link those up if you are in the Illinois area or would like to share that with your, with anybody for that matter. With your customers, whatever. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, some great photos from the Elevator Riders Riding Club, also from San Antonio. They had their annual ride through the NAEC convention. Some cool photographs. Looks like they visited some very, very interesting places. I can only imagine what happened behind the camera scenes. So pretty cool. Glad they had a great time and some great photos. So, and again, thank you to the Elevator Riders Riding Club for supporting the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. Okay, woman falls to death from Scottsdale Center escalator. StLouisToday.com reporting. And again, oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. Again, we don't have to watch the video, but the woman, it stated in an article later on that the woman actually was sliding down the escalator handrail and fell over the side. So again, I imagine you will see lawsuits going forward, and this is becoming, I just wonder, it just seems like these types of accidents occurring more and more, and I don't know why. So unless somebody can share with me if this has actually been going on since escalators were in existence or not, but I wonder if we'll ever get to the point where they'll say escalator handrails are too grippy. I just wonder. I wonder if that has ever come up to where you got some idiot attorney on the other end, defending or trying to sue some contractor because, hey, shouldn't the escalator handrails be smoother and so you can slide down them on your butt? I'm just telling you. I can only imagine what goes beyond, goes on beyond behind scenes in terms of depositions and stuff like that. But again, this is the next article talks about the truth behind the incident, and this is a reminder: do not slide down escalator handrails. I don't know how.
But I'll come right back. Okay.
Oh,
Great.
So sorry about that. I don't know how else to say it, but if we need a huge sign, that might be what it comes to. If not, perhaps the bubble idea, which I keep throwing out there. Nobody's come up with it, although there's probably a patent on it. Just enclose the whole thing in a plexiglass type of tube, so you can't really get out of it. It might come to that. I know there's all sorts of other code issues you probably couldn't even put on. You couldn't install one of those because of it. But we might get to the point where we have to encapsulate them because these yahoos are putting netting up or something like that. But it'll take years to see if that will actually work. So, okay, Elevator U travels to network. Elevator U and their board have been very busy in attending local local university college type of conferences. This is MAPA, They got back from Sarapa a little while ago, actually over the weekend. So they're spreading the word. If you are a contractor or a university or college, I encourage you to turn them on to Elevator U. It's a great way to network and a great way to, share information and get assistance with your elevators under college and campus settings. And to join, I encourage everybody to do so as well. Go to elevatoru.org. Okay, Doug does a great job recapping the Mid-Atlantic Elevator Chapter Golf Outing. So read more about that. Link on his blog, and I encourage you to get signed up for it as well. Chicago Elevator Association Thursday recap has been posted. If you were in attendance for that, it was great to get a presentation from John Thompson over at Thompson Elevator Inspection Service, and there's a note in there along with the handout that was provided. So for more information, just click on the link there, and also the show notes. And thanks to Patty for sending those over to us, and I think it was very insightful. The more we can all be on the same page when it comes to elevator inspections anywhere, it's a good thing. Okay, talking elevator, I'm going to let everybody watch this on their own. It's kind of an elevator prank. Like, what would you do if your elevator started talking? I think I posted something close to this in the past. I just don't remember, but it's pretty funny. So check it out. Link is in the show notes. Next article: Watch Your Step. PBIA escalator or PBIA airport ranks among top Florida airports for escalators. Again, I'm not going to play the video because it's going to blast your ears off. But again, I didn't realize there was a actual study that indicates or ranks escalators in escalator accidents or people that get injured on escalators or whatever. But I'm like, wow, didn't know that. Wonder if that's kind of an underground kind of thing. But anyway, you can watch that video in the notes. And again, another good video is the next one, which is a little concerning in terms of the how they're riding the escalator. But apparently, wife of former U.S. presidential candidate recently injured on escalator, and that's a good video to watch as well. Next article is concern escalators over elevators. The Daily Tar Heel has talking about elevator entrapments by severity. And again, college kids got way too much time on their hands, but they're talking about there were 190 elevator entrapments between the start of fall 2012 and the end of fall 2013. The most common place to be trapped or stalled was the Davis Library with 19 entrapments. So pretty interesting article, but I think there's more to the story as to what is going on. So I think they should kind of throw some statistics in there as to why perhaps it was the elevator stopped moving. Perhaps overloading, etc., but it's just interesting. So perhaps cameras should be involved with that, or some kind of back-end investigative type of thing should be included. But it doesn't always seem to happen that way. So maybe it's a maintenance issue. I don't know. So anyway, next article is actually not found, so we won't even link on that. And here's a cool project that GL helped out with, I should say. Doug's got another post where they were asked to come out with some some extra long push buttons, which they did. And if you check this out, it was done so that a person with a helper dog, I don't know, that's not quite the same. That's not really the correct terminology. Take a look at the photographs. They're buttons that stick out like 1 inch or so, and it's for a dog to go up and hit the buttons. Isn't that cool? And the dog has actually been trained to respond to verbal commands to push the up and the down and floor buttons. Man, dogs are smart. I want a dog like that. I want a dog that can fetch something and bring it back to me. Never had one of those. Or a cat. Anyway, so pretty cool. So Doug, thanks for sharing that. Okay, medics and patient get delayed installed elevator. I guess if you're going to be in an elevator installed, you might as well be in there with a crew. Unfortunately, in Arlington County, paramedics encountered an added difficulty on the job when they became entrapped or stuck in an elevator with a patient suffering a medical emergency this morning. Kind of scary. Not the place you want to be when that happens, but suspect that perhaps it being overloaded may have caused that to occur. And the last news article of the show, I've covered this in previous shows, and I just think it's so funny. we are in the season of Halloween, and if many of you have seen pumpkins and haunted house advertising, all sorts of stuff. It's amazing how much money is in Halloween, or it's become. I mean, you see these little satellite stores popping up just for like 2 months, which makes you think, man, I just need renting these empty stores out just to sell Halloween crap. Here's a haunted elevator, Halloween animatronic, only $10,500. It's in stock, ready to ship, and basically it's an elevator which kind of, shakes and put 10 people in it, and I guess it goes up and down as well. So perhaps the price tag may be accurate, but perhaps our industry may want to look at, I don't know, selling these. I don't know, for that kind of money. It just seems like a lot of money. I don't imagine they sell too many, but still kind of cool. And anyway, that's going to do it for the show notes and the show this week, everybody. As always, it's great to be here, great to be back. Appreciate you all listening. And as always, without you, I would not be doing this. So greatly appreciate it. Very humbled by the warm comments and the warm support that I receive from you, my elevator family. And so as long as there's news, I will be here. So next week we'll have a brand new program for you. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Don't think I can think spring. Why don't think spring. Enjoy fall, and be safe out there. That's my parting words. So take care. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.